We're now in Unit 6, Standard 11.0. Things have changed a little bit, not much. So last unit we were adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. This unit is factoring, which means we're just basically dividing everything. GCFs, prime factorizations, difference of squares, etc. Today our main focus will be finding the GCF. Okay. Now you have to remember the things that you learned in Ms. Castellanos' class. We do work together as far as planning our lessons. So GCF, factor trees, etc. I'm skipping over that because I know she covered it with you guys. Okay. Students will be able to find or factor the GCF of a polynomial by factoring each with 90% accuracy. Okay, so 10 questions, 9 right or more. Okay, so teacher do now. Now all I want you to do is factor. Factor tree lists only prime factors. For example, x squared can be broken down into x times x. So x squared is x times x. That's it. Pretty basic. Negative 24 can be broken down. Whenever there's a negative number, you must always take out a negative 1. And then 24 can be 12 and 2, and 12 can be 3 and 4 can be 2 and 2. I'm going to cross out the ones that are not prime. Those are composite numbers, so I don't want those. So negative 24 is equal to negative 1 times 2 times 2 times 2. It's 3 of them, so 1, 2, 3 2's, and a 3 times 3. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. Okay, you have to be able to do that. 125, same thing. We'll break that down into 25 times 5, and this one can be 5 times 5. Now this is why your division comes in very handy. You have to know those items. So 125 x squared y cubed is going to be 5 times 5 times 5, and I see two x's, x, and 3 y's. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. Last but not least, I see a negative again. So first things first, negatives leave first. So this one's going to be negative 1. Wrong color. Negative 1 times x to the 4th, y to the 5th, z to the 6th. And I'm just going to list them. So negative x to the 4th, y to the 5th, z to the 6th. I'll list that all together with its factors as negative 1 times x, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 y's, and 6 z's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 z's. Okay, prime factorization, very important. Okay, teacher number 1. Now GCF is basically like multiplying. If you remember 5b, it's going to be the opposite. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to factor out both of these items. Okay, so that way we can see what the factors are, and I'm going to find the greatest common factor. Okay, what do they have in common? Okay, so this one is going to be 5 times 5, and this one's going to be 5 times 3. So let me list everything. 5 times 5 times a, just like you do now. 15 is going to be 5 times 3 times a. Now, what do these two items have in common? They both have a 5 and an a. This one has a 5 and an a. So I'll take that out. 5a is what they have in common, and then the leftovers stay inside. Okay, so leftovers is 5a. There's the a. And over here, the leftover is just a 3. Now this is our answer. In order to check it, I'm going to multiply to see if I get the exact same thing back. 5 times 5a, 25a squared, and 5a times 3 is 15a. That's my check. They're exactly the same. Okay, I have to use my multiplying in order to check. Okay, students do same thing. I'm going to factor each one. 18 is going to be 6 times 3, and this is going to be 2 times 3. Again, cross out the 6, it's not prime. 12, always take out a negative 1 first. 12, I'll have 6 times 2, and this one's 2 times 3. Cross out 6 and 12, they're not prime. What do they have in all the factors? 2 times 3 times 3 times x. And here I'll have a negative 1. And then I have a 2 times 2 times 3. Okay. Now, what do they have in common? They both have a 2. They both have a 3. And I think that's it. So I'll take 2 times 3 on the outside, which is 6. And then the leftovers remain, which is going to be, so 2 and a 3, 3x squared. Oh, wait, I missed something. This one has 3x's, 1, 2, 3. They have 2 x's, so I'll have x squared. So this one doesn't have any, and the only leftover is going to be a 3. Here the leftover is going to be negative 1, 2, which is negative 2, and then 2 x's. Oh, sorry, 1x. There we go. Okay, so remember, factor, list, what do they have in common outside? Leftovers on the inside. Okay, so again, we're going to factor this out. This is going to be 4 times 7. This one's going to be 2 times 2. Now, the better you get at this, the quicker it'll become. Once your division gets really good, this is going to be 8 times 7. What I noticed, they both have a 7, and the list is going to have 4, which is right there. It's just going to have a little more. So 4 times 2 and 2 times 2. Okay, so listed out the factors for the first group is going to be 2 times 2 times 7 times A times B. And the second group is going to be, forgot that negative, but negative 1 times 7 times 2 times 2 times 2 times A times B times C times C. Just 2 C's. Okay, they both have a 2 and a 7. They both have a 2 and a 7. And they both have an A and a B. Both have an A and a B. I'm only going to count one group. I'm not going to count all of them. So 2 times 7 is 14, and then A, B. The leftovers from each group. First group has a leftover of a 2 times A, which is 2A. Here, negative 1 times 2 times 2 is negative 4, and then C squared. Multiply to check your answer. 14 times 2, 28. A times A is A squared. B, that matches. That's good. And 14 times negative 4 is, well, 14 times 4 is 28 times 2, 56. So negative 56 A, B, C squared. That matches. All right. Students do the last one. Again, that's all really easy. You're just repeating the same process over and over again. 20 is going to be 10 times 2, and this is going to be 2 times 5. Not going to count the 10. Always take out the negative first. 24 is going to be 8 times 3. This is 2 times 4, and 2 times 2. You need to know your factors. You need to know how to multiply and divide. Okay, so the first group, 2 times 2 times 5. For example, 4 times 5, or 10 times 2, both 20. And then 2 x's, 1, 2. And then second group, negative 1 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's 8 times 3. And then an x and a y. Commonalities, they both have a 2. That's it. That's all they have. That's the greatest group. And then I have an x. Just one x. Okay. Leftovers go inside. 2 times 5 is 10x. And here, negative 1 times 2 times 2 times 3 is 412 minus 12y. Now, what I noticed, I made a mistake, which is fine. Right here, what you'll notice is they're both even numbers. That means I forgot to take a 2 out. I only counted 1, 2. So I'm going to take that 2 out as well. Do that in blue. This one also goes outside, so I had to multiply it on the outside over here. Okay, so my final answer, 2 times 2x, is going to be 4x, and then the leftovers, the true leftovers. 5 times x, 5x, and here the true leftovers, -1 and 6, -6y. That's what we're actually looking for. Multiply to check. 4 times 5 is 20x squared, and 4 times 6 is -24xy, and that matches. Okay, so last, how many more teacher dues and students do we have? Okay, so I'm going to zip through this a little quicker. If there's more items, it can be the same thing. 28 is going to be, well, let me go ahead and list them. Okay, so I factored out each one already. I found the common factor was, it looks like just a 7, so I'll take the 7 out. Here it is. And then the leftovers, you're just going to have more. You still have to have 3 pieces. You're always going to have the same amount of terms as you had before. 2 times 2 is 4a squared, 4a squared. 3 times b is positive 3b, and -5, and then b squared, c squared. Okay, find whatever they have in common for every group. Okay, it has to be the same for all 3 terms. Okay, last students do, same thing. Now, once you get good at this, you can start really dividing in your head really well, really fast. I know that 16 is going to be 4 times 4, which is, there's a 4, and here's another 4. X, Y, Y. The next group is going to be -1 automatically, and then 8 times 3, and here's an 8. 2 times 2 times 2, and here's the 3. Y squared, Y times Y, and then Z. This last group is going to be 40, which is 4 times 10. Here's 4, and here's 10. Y squared. Okay. Again, what do they have in common? This has 3 2's, this has 3 2's, and this has 3 2's. So I know that's going to be an 8. Okay, anything else? They all have y's. They all have at least 2 y's. So 2 y's, 2 y's, 2 y's. So 8y squared. And the leftovers should be here, 2x, left over here, -1 and 3z, and here, just a 5. Okay, so here's our leftovers, 2x, -3z, and +5. Okay, that's our answer. I'm going to multiply to check to make sure that works. 8 times 2 is 16. X, y squared. 8 times 3 is -24 y squared z. And 8 times 5 is going to be +40 y squared. There you go. And it matches. Okay, again, grade yourself. I want you to be ready for 3 things: a percentage, a letter grade, and a rubric score. The rubric score is 0 through 4. We're on a 4-point scale. Okay. Again, at the end, take a picture of your exit slips, the bottom right corner of your paper. So be ready for that. Let me list. So you have direct instruction with me. I'm going to post this on the webpage. Collaborative and independent. Okay. Okay, so independent rev prep assignment, it'll be posted, be the first thing you can do. It should be factoring GCF of polynomials. If you're working with me, practice on the back of the worksheet. Collaborative, I'll have something posted on the whiteboard.